Hello everybody, I gotta make a video update again. There's so much to go over. This video I think will be a mix of fan related stuff and lawnmower stuff. We'll talk about the fan stuff first. We got a new window fan. I just got this today as a birthday present, and I am really freaking lucky to have one of these. This is a really big childhood fan. This is a Lakewood HV18WR. It's a 2000 model. I thought it was a 2001, but I finally found a motor stamp just a little bit ago, and it's a 2000 model with the Macmillan. That just looks so cool seeing it there. When I was younger, there was a house that had one of these in the window, pretty much starting in probably about early March to around late October, maybe going into the November. So that fan would be in the window for pretty much about half the year. Didn't bother taking it out during rainstorms. There was days where it was like 40 to 20 degrees out in early on in the year or late in the year, and the fan would still be in the window. So that's kind of a big childhood sight. And the fan was in there from, I would say, I don't know the earliest, I could say 2009, probably at the earliest, to around 2016, when the people in the house passed away, and another set of old people moved in who were actually kind of grunts, and then they put in central. But this fan was in that window, and then on the other side of the house there was a small modern piece of junk window air conditioner. So, and as a kid, for the longest time I didn't know what this fan was. I think the first time I remember seeing it was 2013 when I moved into my grandparents' house. But, yeah, but pretty much since the day I first saw that fan, I didn't know what it was, and it was always very peculiar to me knowing what that fan was. And now actually knowing what it was, I think I learned it somewhere actually around the time when the fan was removed. That's when I discovered it was HV18WR after watching Space's video. And I remembered the gray blades and this motor, so I knew it was a 2000s model. I always thought it was a 2003. There was actually a few times where I actually would trespass and actually walk up close to the fan to get a closer look at it because I wanted to know what it was. And never bothered reading the stickers that were right there. The thing needs a lot of work. It needs cleaned really bad. My uncle got it on eBay. He probably paid way too much for it, but I don't care because I need this fan right now because the 16-inch Lasco I was using broke, and we're gonna go have a look at that 16-inch Lasco. I got this fan I think a few summers ago for 25 cents off a scrapper. It's probably the cheapest monetary amount I've ever given for a fan. Turn that up because I don't need air conditioning on. Where did I put the fan? That's the big question. Oh, it's over here. We'll turn this light on. Oops. The switch is very finicky on it. But, I think either the blade broke and the fan vibrated itself out of the window, or the fan fell out of the window and then the blade broke. No matter what, I was upstairs and I heard a big crash, and I came down seeing this on its back. It also cracked the plastic on the top, but I was able to fix it with duct tape. I'm going to order a new blade from Lasco. It's about 20 bucks. Hopefully after shipping and taxes and stuff, it doesn't go over 30. Because I want to get that fan working again, because I really love that window fan. I love the HV18WR more. I used to have a 1995 HV18 a long time ago, and then I sold it for about 100 bucks when I was in a pinch for money, and I wish I still had it. I know the person that has it, but they refuse to sell it. They're a contractor that does drywall work, and they use the fan practically daily. And they clean it out with compressed air and stuff, so I know it's not really going to go bad. We'll have a look on the inside. Actually, before we get into that, my little 12-inch Duracraft's upstairs. That was the fan that was in this house when we moved in. It was left behind by the previous owners. The motor, for a while, was locked up on that fan for a number of years. And I got it working. I think sometime last year, I may have dropped it or something, because the whole backside of it's cracked now. I gotta do a revisit video on that if I don't have a video of it already, because that's a really good window fan. We also got these windows here open, the Galaxy 2154. And here's the HV18WR, which I absolutely love how it looks from this angle. This is such a cool fan. I might consider putting it over here in the living room, in this window, but I prefer to have it over here because that's where there's some cameras at and stuff, so if anyone tries to break in, it's where the fan is. And these are the same grills they use on the normal HV18 because it has little ribs here that are kind of pushed out. And it has kind of a whistling sound. I don't know if that's a bearing noise, if that's a rattle. The grill on this thing is really loose. It's on high-speed exhaust. It has the thermostat with the pilot light. This is just such a cool fan. And it needs a clean and service. And there's that whistle again. It's kind of an unusual sound, but I really like it. I have to keep the curtains a good ways away from it or it will suck in the curtains. I was using this fan this morning. That is such a cool fan though. So there's the introduction to the HV18WR. I might run it through its speeds. That's a majority of the fan stuff. I did get another ceiling fan the other day, but I can't really install it because of its weird mounting system. If I can get a box, it's going in the upstairs of the garage. But onto the lawnmower stuff. I thought this thing was dead. I thought this mower had carburetor issues and it wasn't going to live again. I pulled it out of the shed today, had some gas in it, hit the primer button more than 3 times, and the thing fired right up. So it works. This is a weed eater. I don't know when it was made. I think it's a 2003. Let's see if we can... 2000. So this is a 2000 model. So 1 year after this tractor was made. I love this little mower. I love these little basic AYP mowers. This, when I first started mowing grass, I had one of these under the Craftsman label. I don't know what year it was, but it was the dark green and yellow variant, and it had the Tecumseh on it. And it was the big wheel in the back, the one with the big spoked wheel. And I love that mower. I was mowing on a really steep hill with it, and the thing kind of flipped over while it was running, and then the engine ended up killing itself. And then I got rid of that mower, which is, I wish I still had it because I love that mower. But it had, I had it to where there was no spring on the clip. And it was a really small spring. So when I would let off at a clip, when I would let off at its handle, it would stay running. And then if to turn it off, I would just pull up on the handle and then it would turn off. I love that mower. That was a really good mower. And I wanted another one of these in this form factor for a while. It didn't have the side discharge chute though. I got this from the security dude at my school. He gave me this and a few other machines. Actually, I still have the other machines. And then he sold me that bike too, this Trek, which is actually a really nice bike. I'm gonna probably take it out biking sometime this weekend. But I got this old MTD Service Star with this ancient Quantum on it, which I want to get going, but I don't have the resources to. And then I got a snapper in here, which I'm going to buy a new carburetor for and then resell. I was thinking of selling this for a little bit. I might bring it over to my mom's house and use it over there. I've not decided yet. I need to figure out the situation with the wheels, because the wheels on this mower are really worn out. And the blade needs sharpened. The grass has been very dry, so you can't really get a good sense of what it's been doing, but I mowed this part over here. And then this over here, which I waited actually a week, because the last time I mowed it, I had the sprinkler out. It doesn't look half bad. It looks like the blade's dull, but the blade on it's somewhat sharp. I'm gonna take it off and get it sharpened again anyway, before I continue to use it. I've not done the rest of this stuff yet. I'm thinking of doing this with my 2002 Super Recycler. Usually hear the Quasar running. I wonder if the condensate plug on it's like stuck, because this thing hasn't been dripping nearly as much. I'll show you another thing that I was working on. I have a Lawn Boy Gold Series with the Model F engine on it, from the mid to late 90s. I got it from my boss last year, and really liked that mower until it broke. And it just started to like stop working randomly. I got it out because one of the wheels on it is like self-destructed, so I put these wheels on it. At the time, Lawn Boy was bought out by Toro, so they use a lot of the same parts. Like this right here, you can find this on a Toro. Like the same transmission that this mower uses, it's in this 2002 model. Like you can see, the control panel literally looks almost exactly the same. And same with the wheels. So I had this Super Recycler. This was a 2005, 2007, somewhere in that era. I don't really know. And this was somewhat of a higher end mower. I think I paid about $80 for it off a marketplace, and I think it made its money back. I used it just enough to where it paid for itself before I stopped using it. And I had issues with the pull rope on it, and then after that I parted it out because I needed parts on this mower for other things, mostly the carburetor assembly and the blade. The blade went on my 2019 Super Recycler because I hit that pretty bad, and I didn't feel like going out and buying a new blade at the time. And then the back wheels went on that Lawn Boy, and the engine cover went on that mower because the other one cracked. When I got this mower, the whole top engine cover was just kind of cracked in half, so I put this one on it, and that comes out of a different spot, so I had to kind of reconfigure that. And I want to get some videos of this mower. And I also like how this one's working because I really like the Briggs Quantum Series engines. These are one of my favorite engines for the push mowers besides the Predators. So to have two running mowers with Briggs Quantums on them, I really like that. These engines, I love the sound of them. I love the reliability. They're easy to work on, and they're American, which that's something the Predator is not. Predator is Chinese. So to have American-made, two mowers with American-made engines, and actually both of these, they're all made in America. So even though this is more of a budget machine, but I will say this is a budget machine. The deck's made out of a thinner gauge steel. The wheel mounts and brackets, these are all made out of really flimsy steel compared to this. Like, that's really big and beefy. It has grease fittings on there so you can grease everything. The bagger on this is kind of weird. The back handle parts, they kind of rub through in there. This one, actually, I think this one's fine. Yeah, this one's fine. This one's still solid, but some of them you'll have to take those apart and put new bolts in there. My old Craftsman 03 LE had that issue, and someone's actually been using it. They have about a few acres of land, and they use that they use that lawnmower to mow around their nursery and around their strip where they have a bunch of trees planted, and I think around their garden and their front yard. So I think they do about a quarter of their yard with that mower, and it's a non-self-propelled push mower. I'm honestly thinking, if I can get this snapper fixed up and running right, I might just give this mower to them, because this is a better mower, I think anyway. And if it fails, I'll get them something else. But it would be nice for them to have a nice self-propelled mower that's side discharged and all of that stuff, I feel. I have no idea what this plastic piece is. So that's going on. And the big reveal is I'm in the market for a new riding mower. I'm not sure if I told you about this, but that LT, I had trans issues with it, so I'm parting it out. But I have this John Deere trans I'm going to put into it, and then the engine on that tractor blew up, so at the time when I was deciding to part this out, I pulled the engine and put it on that one. So this thing was destined to scrap, but me and my friend have been wanting to make a good quality race mower for a while. We had a race mower a while back, but it wasn't really nearly as good, so I have a smaller rear pulley we're going to put on it, and a bigger front pulley. We're going to use the John Deere transmission. This one over here, if we can get the wheels off. This one has a few issues with the trans on it. And we're going to put, the engine that we're going to put on here is, I believe, a 16 horse Briggs & Stratton Vanguard. This beast right here. And this right here was off of a, oh, it's a 20 horse. This right here, this engine was off of a 60-inch Swisher zero turn, where one of the drive transmissions on it went bad. And it's really similar to the one my boss it's similar to the one my boss has at work. I've yet to make a video of that motor, but I will eventually. And that's also a 60-inch Swisher zero turn. The only difference is that one has a 20 horse Briggs & Stratton Intech extended life, which I don't know what the meaning of that is, because I feel like all Intechs are kind of junk engines. But that mower has a really good exhaust note on it. I have to go get the exhaust for it still. Or my friend does, I don't know. But we have to go pull some more parts to put on this engine, and then once we get this thing working, it's going on that mower. We're going to have to retrofit the exhaust a little bit. But I'm going to be working on getting the engine bolted up to this mower on the upcoming days, and going to run new cables through it and stuff, because the cables are all junk on this mower. The key switch on it, oh, this is the one with the good key switch then. I might keep that. I think this is the one with the good key switch, yeah, because the crappy key switch is on this one now. Took my good engagement wire off of it. I'm going to put it on this one because the engagement cable's a bit flaky, but I'm waiting for this one to fully break. I have a track vac now, so there's the hitch for it. Well, it's a cycling rake, but it's a more compact residential version. There's the unit itself, which isn't folded up yet. The engine on it leaks oil. I have a parts engine, so I'm gonna put all the stuff from the junk engine onto the parts engine, because the parts engine has a good block, and we're gonna get that thing working hopefully by this fall, and I'm gonna have it bolted up to this mower, and then leaf cleanup should hopefully be a lot better this year than it was last year, where I was using a Craftsman bagger on the back of this. I'm going to keep the stock Craftsman bagger for this mower though. I had it on that thing last year before it was in that state. So yeah, and this has the Craftsman gas tank on it now, and the 16 horse Intech, which was on the gray LT, the 2004. And this has been my most reliable tractor I've ever owned. And earlier this year it wasn't being so nice to me, but now it's working, and I actually trust to take this thing. I could drive this thing across the state if I wanted to, and I don't think it would break down. Just did an oil change on it, so it's all good. So in terms of riding mowers, that was like an unnecessary 10-minute thing I did, just talking about the mowers. Oh, this one had a bad tire, so it took me a while. I was running that as a spare, and it was too small, so I pulled one of those off the green LT. But then eventually I went to the tire shop and I got another tube put in it. So good tires on the back now once again. I also didn't like the one tire that was the odd size and then the white rims, because yeah, the yellow rims look really good on this thing. And that's one of my favorite things, is the green on yellow. I know Weed Eater does that with their mowers, and Yardman has some that also share this color scheme, but seeing this on an AYP, it just looks sharp. Really nice mower. And this tractor has been really good for me. I've had it for 2 years now. I'd say about 1 year on and off, but I've done a lot of work to it. I had a few engines on it. I had an 18 horse opposed on here for a little while, and then that engine gave me some issues. Just seem to have bad luck with the opposed. I might talk about that in a later video when I show another machine. But the time has came. I'm getting a zero turn. I've been doing a lot of shopping, and yeah, but that's something for another video. So thank you very much for watching, and keep the breeze.